Hi everyone. I want to sit here. I want to show you how we cooked beer in chicken. Excuse me, in beer in Nam. I was attached to the 61st, attached to the Big Red One, First Infantry Division, and Xi'an Base Camp, just north of Saigon. One of the things we had is we had a lot of beer and we had a lot of chicken. I'll have to tell you how we got that chicken. But what I'm going to start out doing is I have already gotten my skillet kind of preheated. And I'm going to pour beer in here. Now we didn't have any flour, we had no oil, we had nothing. But what we did have, as I said, was lots of beer. I put in my skillet, I'm going to bring it to a boil. And as it boils, you can smell that aroma coming off the beer. Now it's boiling. I've got my chicken over here. As I said, we had no seasonings. Every now and then we could get a hold of little salt and pepper packs, and we would use those from the sea rations and put that on our chicken. So I'm going to just take my chicken and put it directly into the beer. And I want to try to keep that boil going. I want to try to keep it as hot as I can. We use an electric skillet. We obviously didn't have a stove, but we had a 5K generator that one of us would keep running all the time. We had two of them. One would go out, we had a second backup. So we did have an electric skillet. To tell you the truth, I don't know where it came from, but we certainly had one. Now I'm going to be adding my chicken to the beer one by one. And these are chicken wings. Any part of the chicken will work. These happen to be chicken wings. I cut the tips off, and I'm just going to cook those up. That's what I happen to have, so I'm going to go ahead and cook those in my beer. Any kind of beer will work. You don't need premium beer. Cheapest beer you can find is just fine. What we're using actually is the barley, hops, everything the beer is made out of to cook our chicken. Beer is wonderful to cook in, and you're going to see when I'm done what this looks like. Put my top on and let it cook and boil, and we'll come right back. Now only after, well, it's only been about 4 minutes in a hot skillet. Let's take a look and see what we've got here. And look at it, boiling and steaming. And one of the things that'll happen is the beer will cook down. The alcohol will start to slowly dissipate and steam off. And as that happens, you want to add more beer to it, slowly, and not break the boil. We want to keep this going. And as this is chicken, we want to make sure it's totally cooked all the way through. And you're going to see that and see just how delicious it tastes. I'm going to put the top back on for a minute, but I mentioned to you about getting chicken. Mahoney, who was our vet tech, took care of our dogs and gave the dog shots, was also the food inspector for Xi'an Base Camp. So he'd have me drive the Jeep, Sergeant Dudley, and we'd go to the food lockers and get cases of chicken. Of course, this was all to be taken back and inspected. Cases of steaks and so on for our cookouts and barbecues. So we're going to let this boil, put the top back on, and check back with it in a couple more minutes. Okay, let's take a look and see where we're at. Oh wow, look at all that steam coming off. I'm going to pull my top off and look at it boiling, that beer. I'm going to add a little more. Remember, you don't want to break the boil. We're just going to add a little bit of beer just to keep it up, so we keep our content high, because we're going to thoroughly cook this chicken. And you're going to watch this beer caramelize when we get it to the point of where it's done. Put the top back on. And so far, we've only been cooking for about 10 minutes. Let's check on this later. Yeah, let's take a look. After 15 minutes of cooking, oh my, look how it's starting to kind of brown up in there. Starting to get a little red. And so I've been cooking for about 15 minutes. Okay, look at it starting to brown up. I'm going to flip it over. It's nice to have a Teflon coated pan also, because as I say, we're not using any oil, so we want to make sure that the chicken does not stick. Okay, we're going to flip all these pieces over, and look how my beer is going down. I'm going to add a little bit more now. As I said, we don't want to break that boil. I'm going to add a little beer. Keep that heat going. I'm just putting it in all around my pan. Bringing the temperature up slowly in it. And let it continue to steam. I'm asked, well, how many cans do you use? It usually takes about 2 cans. Put my top back on. Let's let it cook for another 15 minutes. Look at the chicken cooking down and turning brown. Look at that. I'm going to take my spatula here. I'm going to turn this over. Let's take a look at this. How that looks. Look at that, browning all up. Watch how it turns brown. Now remember, there's no oil, no flour, nothing. A little salt and pepper, and just beer. Watch how it comes out, and you're going to love how it tastes. Okay, let's take a look at the chicken. I'm looking at my timer. I've been cooking for approximately an hour. I have not added any more beer. I know my chicken's done. And it's cooking now in its own oil. And it's going to brown up really nice and succulent. Look at how it's browning up. And now it's only the chicken oil. And what's left from the beer is browning up real nice. The chicken's basically done and falling off the bone. I'm going to go ahead and plate this up. I've got a little rice sitting here, so I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken over here. That's some rice. Let's say it's just falling off the bone at this point, as you can see. Grab a couple pieces here. Use a Teflon pan. This one did an okay job. Look at that. My goodness. Vietnam beer fried chicken. It's still cooking up in there. Thanks.